I've been really inspired by the Friday night teachings and looking at these excellent qualities of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. One of the qualities of the Dharma that has really stood out to me is this quality to be seen here and now. And His Holiness and Venerable Chodron described this as the Arya path and nirvana can be experienced here and now by abandoning obscurations. Those who have actualized the Arya paths do not obsess over their own or others' afflictions or the objects of affliction, and thus they do not experience mental misery. I think one of the reasons that this is so intriguing to me is because it's this promise, this potential of being able to directly see reality right now, even though that's totally outside of my current experience, and to be free from the afflictions and obscurations that are getting in the way of that. And so, yeah, there's this potential, this enticement of like, this is possible now, but then I see what my actual experience is, and I think there's a lot more causes that I need to create to have this happen right now. But in my daily practice, when I do apply the Dharma to work with my mind, I do see the benefits here and now. I see that applying the Dharma helps my mind expand in this positive and beneficial way, and really helps me get out of this, ruminating thought of me, I, my, and mine. What's happening to me? How are people treating me? What do I think about them? What's the situation that I'm encountering? And on and on. And so by seeing the positive impact of applying, what Dharma I have learned right now, it gives me confidence that by continuing in this way, that it is actually possible to eliminate my afflictions, to stop obsessing on them, and to be free from mental misery. And just keeping this in mind has been really helpful as a situation has arisen that I have gotten, kind of tied up and upset about, but thinking like, what would it be like to experience this without mental misery? And just seeing that as a possibility, as an option, even just there really opens my mind to explore different avenues, except, outside of just my usual response of, anger and confusion and the harmful actions and speech that come out of that. One practice that I also see this shift over time to, apply the Dharma, how it's had a more and more impact in my daily life as I just keep doing it every day, is setting this daily aspiration. And we train to wake up to have the thought of today I will do no harm, today I will benefit others, and today I will generate bodhicitta, this aspiration for full awakening so I can be of the greatest benefit to others. And looking back, it's been almost 10 years since I was introduced to this invitation to set these aspirations each day, and seeing how I needed a lot of reminding and would forget oftentimes to set them, and it would happen, later in the day. And bit by bit, it would come, a little bit more regularly. And now I can, set them in the morning and really think about like what are the situations I might encounter that I need to really be mindful of my practice and come back to these aspirations. And how this aspiration to do no harm and to be of benefit, when that is really informing my activities and where my mind is placed, that this leads to a lot less mental misery than when I am having ruminating thoughts and afflictions come up that's really harmful for me and likely harmful for others who are around me. And so every day I have the opportunity to practice, because usually each day I'm finding myself in some sort of situation that I'm like, oh, I'd rather be doing something else. And I'll just take dishes for an example. I'd love to just kick back after every meal and, just let the dishes do themselves. But thankfully, once a day, we each have the opportunity, and even more than once a day, sometimes we have the opportunity to pitch in and do the dishes. And when I can switch my perspective and really see this as an opportunity, it becomes so much more than this like drudgery work of like, oh my God, I'm trapped in the kitchen and I can't leave until the dishes are done and these people around me aren't doing their job, so I have to work harder, and look, they're finished before me, they've even left, it is just me. But instead, seeing this as an opportunity to cultivate good qualities and to cultivate bodhicitta, and that it's not just this helpful, beneficial thing, but actually it's really necessary for me to encounter situations that I wouldn't necessarily, say are my favorites. These are the key times where I can practice. And when I show up and contribute my time and my energy, I am cultivating generosity. And when I am bringing a happy mind and doing a thorough job without just looking for the shortcut and how I can get done the quickest, and really delighting in this opportunity to offer service and contribute to the community and make this offering to the three jewels. We have, ethical conduct and fortitude and joyous effort all being cultivated there too. And when I can keep my mind in a virtuous place and be happy of what I'm doing, like remember that I'm doing the dishes, remembering the kindness of others that has enabled us to have dishes and have a kitchen and have food. This is helping me create the causes to be able to develop concentration instead of just letting my mind go off in a million different directions like it's so habituated to. And then I can cultivate the causes to actualize wisdom by continuing to remember that this opportunity to do dishes really comes about due to many causes and conditions. Like we wouldn't have to do dishes if we didn't have food to eat. We wouldn't have to do dishes if there was no water. And they wouldn't get done as well if there was no hot water. And it would be a lot harder to do the dishes if it was just one person in there doing the dishes. So it's really a lot of different teammates, working together to do the dishes. And then looking like, what is it doing the dishes? Is it the pre-wash? Is that the person who's like doing the dishes? Or is it the person scrubbing the dishes or rinsing the dishes, bleaching the dishes? Is the dishes on the drying rack doing the dishes? So playing with this and bringing this into these activities that I wouldn't necessarily label as like what I want to do today, this is a way to cultivate wisdom and see things more accurately. And it's not just about developing more contentment and happiness like right here and right now, even though that's what happens when I can keep my mind in the Dharma and in a more virtuous place. But I am, it's this kind of cumulative effect. Like when I can keep a happy mind and keep really joyful and a good perspective of what we're doing, then when different things come up, I have a much better chance of showing up to whatever, someone says to me or whatever else, whatever impermanent situation arises that I'm not expecting. I have a better chance of showing up in a way that is also keeping my mind in the Dharma. Instead of, if I'm doing the dishes and seeing all the different problems around me, then when something else happens that's unexpected, I'm likely to see that as a problem too. And so the more I can keep my mind, in a virtuous place, the more I can respond to different situations in a beneficial way. And then that is creating these are leaving imprints on my mind stream. And so what kind of imprints do I want to leave? Like, I want to leave imprints of Dharma and imprints of pushing back against the afflictions instead of the imprints of the afflictions just getting stronger and stronger. And it's so empowering to know that we have this choice with all of the different things that we're doing and in all of the different situations we encounter. Like, we don't always have a choice of what the situations are and what's happening within them, but we have this choice of how am I going to direct my mind here and how am I going to see it and how am I going to view the story that I'm telling myself? Am I going to believe that and just keep following it? Or am I going to question these thoughts and see them as harmful and dangerous? So it's been really fruitful this past week or so to really think about bringing the Dharma, to be seen here and now, to see the difference in my mind when I am actively practicing versus letting the mind go where it just habitually goes. And Venerable's teachings last weekend on thought training have also been super inspiring to really see, really rejoice when difficult things happen, really to see problems as opportunities. And doing the dishes isn't really a problem per se, but it's, when I can practice with these smaller things in my day that, aren't problems at all, but sometimes my mind can make them into problems, then when actual problems arise, I have that much more momentum to shift it and see it as an opportunity because I've been practicing with these like small things in daily life. And when I can see that something's happening, maybe someone is saying something to me that is difficult to hear, or I'm perceiving kind of anger, defiance, whatever, something that's kind of uncomfortable for me, to get into this habit instead of saying, oh gosh, here's a situation that I just want to get away from or need to defend myself and justify why I'm right. To switch that is like, oh, here's an opportunity to try and understand another person. Here is an opportunity to practice fortitude. Or here is an opportunity just to try and find where is the opportunity. It's not always obvious, but just even thinking in that way opens my mind, again, from getting so caught up in my habitual stories and looking outside to blame others in the situations for my misery. And oftentimes I need to just keep coming back to this. If it's something that is kind of more sticky in my mind, I can think about how's the opportunity to learn and apply an antidote and rejoice in that. And then, 5 minutes later, it comes back and I'm ruminating again. And so, you just do it over and over and over again. And in this way, I'm building up my muscles to keep the afflictions in check, to notice when they are arising in my mind, which is, I can see a huge improvement over the years where I wouldn't even acknowledge a lot of my thoughts as afflicted thoughts in the past, but now I can really see that these familial thoughts are really leading to a lot of my misery and this kind of low-level discontent. But that as they keep coming up, I can just keep noticing them and seeing the opportunity to work with them. And in this way, I think it leads to more harmony in the community. It leads to better qualities in myself. And this confidence in the path, confidence in knowing that eventually, because I know that the Dharma makes this huge impact in my mind right now, that the more I keep going, that it really is possible to create the cause to be free from all mental misery, to be free from having any of the causes of anger in my mind or attachment or ignorance, and how wonderful that will be. So may we continue to apply the Dharma in our daily lives and take each opportunity that difficulties present to practice, and do this all with this bodhicitta motivation that it's not just for our own happiness, but as we become experts in working with the afflictions and cultivating our good qualities, then we're going to be able to help others do the same.